Well, good afternoon, reefers. We're going to have a very quick discussion about aquarium temperature. Here in Florida, I'm in Southwest Florida, the temperatures are reaching 3 digits now. On average, it's 95 to 98, but it's getting as high as 102, probably going to get even hotter in August. So it's always a good idea to maintain that proper temperature inside of our reef tanks. On mine, I happen to have a chiller, and I'm going to show you that really quick. I use a Vevor chiller. I bought it from their website and I got it for about $200 and change. I maintain a temperature of 77 degrees, very easy to maintain. And if you have corals such as torch or SPS corals, very important that you maintain a very reasonable temperature, somewhere between maybe 77, 78 degrees. When it gets above about 80 degrees, you may run into some problems. Now this actually draws air from the front, it filters it and blows the hot air out the back. This is the model that I use, so you can pause it and check that out. I'm treating with this model almost 140 gallons and keeping it at 77 degrees here in the house, with the ambient temperature in the house at about the same. Just to show you this really quick, and I made this mistake, I had the exhaust of my chiller blowing onto my RODI filter system. Now it didn't really hurt the RODI filter other than the DI filter itself and the resin in it. If you notice, the resin on the top is still black, but the lower part is pink. I've only installed this in May, last month. So it's usually I go about 6 months. This one's barely a month and a half old and it's almost completely expended. And that's because the water temperature inside of that filter, because the exhaust was blowing on it, ended up to be in the 90s, which depletes that DI resin very quickly. So I'm going to actually turn it around so it blows out the other way. I made a mistake, won't make it twice. And right now I put that plastic heat guard on there so the warm air blows out the front instead of onto the RODI filter system, just a heads up. So if you have corals, again, as SPS or torch corals, you really don't want the temperature to get too hot. Here in Florida, we deal with what's called radiant heat from the sun because we're close to the equator. If you look at where this comes out, before we get into that, it's piped right into my sump. I come off of a 1/2-inch line with a cut-off valve, and I put a little coupling, what's called a compression coupling, on my water feed to come out into a 1/2-inch line to feed back into that water chiller. It comes out and I feed it back into my sump through this line that comes right back in, and it just constantly rotates the water out of the sump back into it before it goes up into the tanks. Keeps everything at about 77 degrees. It does a very good job. So again, back to radiant heat. When we're dealing with radiant heat right now in Florida, we're dealing with the hot sun beating down on our roofs. Now you'd say, well, the roof stops, the insulation stops, so I got my AC on. The problem is the radiation from the sun's heat permeates and makes its way through the attic, through the insulation, through the drywall, and it's captured by the water, and the water itself heats up a little bit because of, again, the radiant heat. So if the ambient temperature in your house is, say, 77 degrees like mine is, and I didn't have the chiller running, my tank water would be about 81 degrees or so, 82 degrees during the day. So at night it'll drop down to 78 or so. During the day it goes up to 82. That's a big temperature swing for a reef tank. And I want to keep it at 77 degrees for my torches, for my SPS and whatnot. So therefore I use a chiller, and this prevents that from happening. So let me go ahead and turn off this media right now and put on our screen catcher for the other side and open this up. And just to give you an idea of why stability matters, this comes from our AI, Google. And if you look at it, it tells us that reef inhabitants are accustomed to the incredible stability of the waters of tropic oceans. While corals and fish can survive temporarily in warm or cooler water, rapid swings cause severe stress, leading to coral bleaching and disease outbreaks. So we want to be careful to keep it in that target range, which is 77 to 78 degrees. And also know that when your water starts to get above 79 degrees, there's a higher concentration of bacteria in the water, which causes algae blooms. It can be kind of tough to handle. So with that, just to show you what we've been using, this one you could actually get from Amazon. It's not that much money. For about 250 bucks, this treats 26 gallons of water. It's not bad. Usually you get away with a little bit more than that. This will take 26 gallons of water and bring it down to like 60 degrees. We don't need that. We're looking at 77. So you could probably treat up to 50 gallons of water and bring it down to 77 and maintain it. Comes on and off throughout the day. Not very often at night, mostly during the day, and almost never in the wintertime. So it does come in handy. It doesn't use a lot of electricity, especially compared to your house AC system. In the summertime, to keep this house here in Southwest Florida at 77 degrees, it costs, well, a nice little penny with electric. However, in order to keep my tank back there down to about 78 or 79 degrees, the ambient temperature in the house has to be about 74, which gets very expensive in the mid part of the summer here. So that chiller on there really saves a lot of money. Now also, to look at this one I got from Vevor. This one, I paid a little less for the one I have, and this is the one I just showed you in the video. This will treat, it says 52 gallons, I've got 140 gallons. And I keep that at a constant 77 degrees in the middle of the summer, hottest part of the day, no problem. I paid at the time I bought mine $240. Now if you use a coupon when you go to Viva, I believe it'll reduce it down 20% down to that cost, and it's free shipping. So for the price and the amount of money it saves you on electricity and the health of your own corals, it's well worth it. It's really well worth it. And also, considering when you have hurricanes or natural disasters, the electric goes out, it's so easy to plug this into a generator and maintain that cool temperature in your aquarium when you don't have the house's air conditioning running. If you're in Florida, Texas, Arizona, California, a hurricane hits, you lose the electric, your temperature in your house is going to go up to 95 degrees. Your tank is going to cook. This will plug right into a generator and maintain 77 degrees in your tank. So it will definitely save your fish, save your corals, save your tank in an emergency, and it's very easy to power up without needing a huge, 50,000 watt generator to feed your house AC. Your tanks, your lights, your pumps will all plug into its own generator, and you're good to go till the electric comes back on. So it's really well worth it to have a chiller if you're in Florida especially. You can get it. I'll have the links to both of these down below in the video, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. And better to be safe or sorry. So I hope this helps you. On several occasions, I've had to crank up the generator and plug that chiller, my lights and pumps into it here in Florida, especially in hurricanes, but sometimes in summer storms, emergencies happen, the electric goes out. Again, it's always to be safe or sorry. So I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You can check out the links below. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in your reef tanks. Have a wonderful day.